Okay, the recording has started. Okay, again, just thank you everybody for showing up. And just can you see my screen? I think you can. Agenda today, I'll say a few words about CMRC, introduction of it, and some activities that were conducted recently. And then we will have Virginia Wright Peter, Vice Chancellor for Finance and Campus Resources, to talk about University of Minnesota Rochester's activities and campus action plan. And then later on, Three Rivers Community Action will, Magda's going to talk to us about BIPOC home ownership, the mentoring program. Okay, so I'm going to go do my thing. Because the CMRC vision for those that are joining us now is that our vision is really want to be a bridge that connects particularly racially marginalized communities to themselves and opportunities. And our goal really wants to be able to, integrate our BIPOC voices to amplify the voice, and then so that we share common goals to advance the BIPOC, amplify our empower our presence in the community. And some of the recent activities that we conducted, some of the advocacy activities, and in the city council, the recent city council meeting, I remind the city council that Rochester is purporting to be intercultural city. And in fact, in the September 21st meeting, 2020 meeting, that they've actually instructed the city staff to develop intercultural city action plan. So I made in the public comments section of the city council meeting, I reminded the city council that there's something that they need to work on, to develop the action plan. And another item about advocacy is that we had a conversation with Olmsted County Commissioner regarding the recently announcement about Olmsted County changing the advisory board. Human Service Advisory Board is dissolved to becoming a task force model, and Human Rights Commission Advisory Board is dissolving to using one Olmsted and then Community Council to drive DEI. So the questions I have with the Olmsted County Commissioner is that how does CMRC interact with the task force, particularly when they form task force? How do we get invited to join the task force? And then another thing is that how does Olmsted fulfill its stated goal of working with CMRC? So those are two questions that I actually service to the Olmsted County Commissioner, Laurel Pope. I can't remember say her last name right now, but anyway, okay. So and some other CMRC related actions. For the year of respect, to value others together, CMRC members have lended BIPOC voices, and also CMRC is working with ACTU philanthropy collaboration to have conversational collaboration, in particular in the area of post-secondary education assistance for BIPOC youth. By the way, if you I'm going to have these slides posted on the website, and these are links here that you can actually click in for the detail. So I won't go to the detail here. So if you really are more curious about understanding more about these things, you can click through it and get more detail about it. And so there's a list of some funding and capacity building opportunities, and I won't go through the detail here. again, the links here will take you to the detail about these opportunities. And there are 3 of these opportunities that I've listed here. For those of you that are interested in learning more about it, you can talk to me or just click through the link to find it. And the upcoming events, I wanted to highlight some of the CMRC affiliate events. Of course, Year Respect is coming up tomorrow at RC Heinz Center. No, actually, I think, anyway, click here, you find out more detail about that. And Journey is one of our CMRC groups is hosting the Open Road workshop to talk main objectives and has access to higher education.
Al,
And then
Al?
tips, okay.
Yeah, didn't want to interrupt you, but if you go back to that first one, Year Respect, it's actually it's going to be at 125 Live tomorrow. The location has changed.
Right.
125 Live. Thanks. Same time.
Yeah. In fact, the link, if you click that, it will show the right way thing. Yeah, you're right. Then April 19, you have panel discussion on Steelway Rise, Rochester's Black Legacy. And again, the link here will take you to some more detail, including where the meeting is going to take place. And then the Lotus Health Foundation will host. Now, all these are CMRC related members groups that are hosting these things. That's why I'm highlighting them here. Their community healthness event, particularly there's a conversation regarding Hispanic community. That in fact there's going to be some thing about diet concerns for Hispanic group, which could be interesting. And some notable happenings. Last Saturday, Pomoja Women's had an annual iftar dinner. Somebody's got some scratching background noise. If you are not talking, please mute. So if we have time, if Pomoja Women is here, then we can have her talk a bit more about that annual iftar dinner that happened last Saturday. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm frozen here for some reason. Okay. Oh, I guess that's it. All right. Okay. My last slide. Okay. So that is the update from CMRC. And then I'm going to stop sharing and then have Virginia come on. Let's see. Right. Okay, there you go.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you can start at this slide. This is great. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity to share this information and especially to get input from this group. The university has embarked on a campus planning process that typically happens on each of the campuses. The University of Minnesota has 5 campuses, once every 10 years. Ours was last done in 2000, we last did it in 2014, and we're doing it again now. The report is the process, and the report will eventually go to the Board of Regents, and it allows us to be sort of forward thinking, maybe 10 years, maybe 30 years into the future as to what our facilities needs will be. So starting last September, we started gathering a lot of data. And we did have one community gathering, and we've since been gathering sort of more data, analyzing it, trying out different ideas and thoughts. We have an outside consultant that helps the university with this, as well as some of our colleagues on the Twin Cities campus. And last week, we shared kind of a draft of where we are with our thinking. And so that's what I'd like to share with you today.
Next slide.
Yes, please. What's really different for the university this time is we are combining our campus planning, facilities planning with climate action, and sort of saying as we grow or change things, we want to be very responsible in terms of decarbonization and becoming increasingly climate resilient. And so that's really built into the process this year for the very first time. Next one. So this talks a little bit about our mission and vision. And in particular, we can kind of synthesize it down to 3 main points: that students are always at the center of what we do, and research informs our practice. All of our faculty do research on our teaching techniques, and we make changes based on that research. And then partners make it possible. We're very unique among the university campuses in that we don't own our own facilities, for example. We don't provide healthcare to our students. We don't provide the recreation. So we stay very focused on providing the education, and we like to engage with others in providing other services that other people might be better at than we are as educators. Next, yeah. And what we've been all along, this campus opened in 2009, so we are the newest campus, not only of the university, but we are probably the youngest or second youngest campus in the United States. People aren't typically opening campuses right now in the higher education arena. And our goals are to be kind of our milestones are 1,000 students, which we expect to hit this next fall. And then 15, we build and think ahead to 1,500 students. And then we think ultimately University of Minnesota Rochester will be 2,500 students. And then here are some of our climate action goals. And that is to be, a good steward in our resources and strive towards a very sustainable future, carbon neutrality, and resilience, like I said, around the climate, which even our weather these couple of days is testimony to. So yeah, next one. So we are embedded in the community in Rochester, and that's also unique. We're not a standalone campus, kind of off somewhere. And so we're very aware, we try to be aware of what is happening around us, what Mayo is building, what transit is happening, what the city is doing in terms of geothermal, energy resources. So we don't do this in a vacuum. And you can see down there next to where it says East Playground, that's all Soldiers Field. We do own some land down where the Y used to be. Part of this planning process was for us to kind of figure out how much do we think about eventually building on that property, and how much do we continue to be embedded in the city. And those maroon buildings that you see there are where we lease space now. And our largest presence is in University Square in the Galleria, in what we now call the Student Life Center, which was formerly the Doubletree Hotel, and 318 Commons, which is down First Avenue, kind of partway toward the Y. And we also have some classrooms in Discovery Square, both 1 and 2 Discovery Square. So we're really kind of decentralized now, and we like that. We like being in proximity to other people and entities that are involved in kind of healthcare and research and just kind of the downtown scene. Thank you, Al. So in talking to the DMC, we've asked them to consider some things, and that is along the lines of helping to support the thermal energy network that the city's rolling out, to help support the concept of green leasing, where all property owners strive for the same carbon neutrality and climate resiliency. Yeah, they've come up with some specific things about encouraging less use of vehicles in the downtown, more opportunities for electric vehicle charging, and things along transit, better transit, more parking when appropriate, but trying to balance that with using vehicles somewhat less. Yeah. Other things that we have, we are looking for partners for, and I will especially be interested in input from this group on all of it, but some of the things that we've identified is the needs for childcare, more childcare opportunities, affordable childcare in the downtown and southeast area of Rochester, and indoor recreation. When the Y left, our students were left without, access to a gym and the opportunity for recreation and social activities. We've been partnering with some other entities in town, but we still think that there's more need. And then some folks feel strongly about the skyways and subway extensions, and there's some need for simulation, and we want to share some of these high-cost educational resources like simulation. Yeah.
Richard, I'd like to ask a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
In terms of your student activities for recreation, exercise activities, my impression had been that the Y still offers some programs for the CMR students. Is that right? Or?
Yes, they provide the staffing, and we have repurposed space in the Student Life Center, which was the DoubleTree Hotel, right? So we do have a large exercise room. We have a yoga class kind of facility, and the pool is still there. So we have a lot of it. The primary piece that we're missing in terms of a facility is a gym. So a lot of interest in intramurals, basketball, volleyball, things like that. Yeah, the next slide, please. So we're trying to bring a lot of things together here, that mission and vision, where our enrollment is going, the different leases we have in relationships with property owners now, our sustainability goals, our commitment to student success and employee well-being, as well as our community, kind of the context of what's happening in the community, and our interest and commitment to being good community partners. The next one. And so, yeah, we want to be flexible, adaptable, think about these proximities, optimize climate action, and be inclusive and welcoming. So while I said that we're looking like long-term, meaning 10 to 30 years out, we also know we do have some near-term needs, because we are growing and we're still coming close to running out of space for classrooms, convening common space, and some offices, things like that. And I keep bringing up the gym. So next slide. So the ideas that have come out of this are, we want to create functional, healthy, accessible UMR spaces. And we really are thinking more about air circulation, things that make a workplace and a learning place healthy. Next one, Al. And this smart lease concept, that going forward, that all property owners are kind of put on notice, that we will have expectations that future facilities will be will meet these sustainability and climate goals. Next one. That we will be able to meet our future enrollment needs. The opening the Student Life Center gives us enough housing probably to go up to 1,500 students, but we still will have a need for some of those other spaces that I mentioned. The next one. That we have some specialty places that internally we want to create. One is a heart of the campus. As you saw, those little maroon buildings were a little spread out, which is cool for being close to other entities. But we feel like we don't have that one place that allows people to really kind of connect and feel like this is the University of Minnesota. You know, a lot of prospective students and their families come here, and the first thing they kind of need to get over is the fact that we're in a shopping mall, is how they see it, right? So how do we feel a little bit more like a campus, yet keep the relationships with other entities there? We want to create a state-of-the-art instructional development center. We do a lot of innovative things in the classroom, and we want to be able to share that perhaps with the public schools here and other higher ed institutions that might come to learn what we're doing. And we want to expand our internship and career center. Al, the next one. I'm so sorry you have to advance the slides for me.
That's okay.
Indoor space, kind of, I think I've already mentioned most of our goals here. In outdoor space, as things evolve in the Soldiers Field Park area, we're very interested in those opportunities to support our students and campus community. Next one. And yeah, so this is just a little, again, drawing of the land that we own. That little white building down there is where the Y was, and that has been purchased by a developer that's planning on putting in market rate housing there. When we build this, these are just ideas. We would potentially build housing, more housing down there when we hit that 1,500 enrollment. Blue buildings might be things that we share with partners. That high cost, high impact simulation center, maybe with other folks. That instructional development center. We are very open to partnering on the expansion of childcare down in this space if somebody wants to partner with us on that. So looking at lots of opportunities and ways we might use the land that we have. Next one. And then, yeah, here's kind of talking about those different opportunities with the partners. Next slide. And I think we've talked with, I've mentioned already our wanting to support and advocate with the city of Rochester and DMC on the carbon emissions goals. Next one, Al. Reducing emissions. Same thing, electric vehicles. One of the things we were really disappointed to see our car leave Rochester. I think they came and then the pandemic hit, the car share program. They had a couple of cars parked in lots downtown, and you could like use them for, rent them for an hour or 2 hours rather than everyone having a car downtown. And I think our students could really make good use of that, but they left. And we'd really like to see another car share program so everyone doesn't need to own a car. Next idea. We want to commit ourselves to building a lot of these ideas into our own curriculum and our co-curricular activities with students. Next one. There are only 10, we're getting there. Advance the climate and community resilience priorities on campus. And again, this is in the community. You see reduce water, create equitable food access. We do have a food pantry. We now have a dining program. It's the first time we've had a dining program, but we also, you'll see like item 6 under this. Olmsted County does not have sort of state-of-the-art ways of composting or dealing with food waste. And all of this is going into the landfills, and we'd like to advocate for better recycling and composting of food waste. And the last idea, number 10. Oh, I guess there are only 9. All right. So the 10th slide is just the summary of the 9. So I know that's just like a whole lot of information, and everyone is welcome to have the slides. Hopefully you can all open them. But yeah, I want to stop and answer any questions and get like, what's your reaction to this as you think about the University of Minnesota Rochester in our community?
Okay, Said.
Yeah, my question is, there is a lot of youth that graduates college here, goes to the cities for the UMR in Minnesota, UFM. What programs that you guys are lucky enough to have it here in Rochester, so the youth does not should not go to the Minneapolis?
That's a really good question. I should have said that kind of early. I should have given a little intro to the whole campus overall. We are focused on healthcare. We have 2 degree programs, and they're both health sciences. So anyone wanting to go into any aspect of healthcare, including some things like data, we can all think of doctor and nurse and radiologist and sonographer and lab tech and that kind of thing. But even some of the administrative kinds of things in healthcare, data analytics, AI, things like that. So anyone that wants to work in healthcare. But it's true, if you want to be an engineer or a veterinarian or something like that, you probably need to go to the Twin Cities.
Okay, I have a question maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Typically, UMR students do not have cars, or do they?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
question 1. And second one is, if you don't have cars, how do you move around within the city and also between these different locations, even downtown area? It's quite a walk, right? Still.
Yeah, so they more of them have cars than I sort of wish, because I mean, cars are so expensive, right? And then we did work out a deal with the city for them to park in the ramp, and we got a little bit of a discount for them, but that was because we will sign year-long contracts with the city. But we have at least 150 student cars downtown, and probably more than that. Otherwise, our actual locations downtown, they can walk to, but there isn't a grocery store downtown, right? I mean, there are a lot of things you can't buy downtown that they sort of need for daily life. And that becomes more of the challenge. And another reason I'd love to have that car share program back.
Yeah, is it possible that you guys create a place like that they can all park? Maybe you can pick it up as a shuttle and take them to the university.
That we've considered something like that as well. Yep, that would certainly be a possibility. Kind of an off-site parking for our community. Yeah, I will put that on the list. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
We've talked
Terry,
about it before.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Terry-
we've talked about it before.
Yeah. Terry's got a question. Terry can, yeah.
So one of the things that students and families look for is a vibrant community to be a part of. And one of the things that's happened in almost every community, including Rochester post-COVID, is there's a lot of downtown space that's not filled. And so you see empty buildings. So you talk, and I understand from a green perspective, sometimes if you build the building, it's easier to make it LEED certified. But Is there space downtown that's underutilized? Was that part of your analysis? Because then
Yeah.
again, as you fill storefronts and things like that, it helps the community as well. Thank you.
Yes, no, thank you for the question. That is exactly what we sort of did with the DoubleTree Hotel, right? We were able to work with that property owner, and occupancy was going down. And I think especially maybe this is my conjecture, I guess, opening the new Hilton, there were a lot more hotel rooms downtown. So we were able to repurpose that building as a student dorm. So I think, yeah, rather than building new things until they're absolutely necessary, that is a really good way to go.
Next, Shauna, you've got a comment, question?
Yes, I had 2 questions. My first question was, what do you consider affordable childcare? I know you were saying that you're looking for different affordable childcare options within the downtown area, but I think affordable can look different depending on the tax bracket of many different people. So affordable childcare, just wondering if you guys, based on the data and research that you guys have already done, have you considered what that affordable daycare pricing would look like? And who is it that's in need? Is it just the students or just for anybody that's working downtown? Who exactly are you looking for affordable childcare for? And what do you consider to be affordable childcare? Because these are all of the questions that by hearing, this is something that you're seeking maybe some assistance with before we're able to reach out to different resources who provide childcare assistance within the Rochester area. Those are some of the questions that they're going to ask. Who's the target audience and what is the affordability range?
Sure. So we thank you for those questions. So we're definitely looking beyond our own employees and students, right? We recognize that there's a greater need, and that we are not experts in the childcare area. So this is where we are partnering and trying to learn from others, like Cradle to Career, for example, has done a study and has been working on this, and they're trying to partner with the county and some other entities around like really defining what the need is. I know, for example, one of the studies that was done recently showed that there is a shortage of like 1,001 spaces for childcare in the southeast quadrant of Rochester. So there's a deficit of 1,000. How do we fill the deficit? The state in there, just like right now, has been looking at additional funding and offering grant opportunities to expand or build capacity in this space. But again, it's not an expertise of ours. So that's where we are trying to reach out to other people that are also trying to solve this problem, to come together and say, okay, we have some land that might be used for this. Or we've actually set up during the pandemic mini childcare in some of our unused classrooms before. So we're really open to just saying we want to be a partner in helping close this gap, helping meet this need.
And thank you. That just brought a lot of clarity to my question. I have one other question. So for our open road event that's coming up on April 16th, Journey has actually invited students from the Black Student Union at University of Minnesota Rochester. So they will be coming just to speak on their first year college experience, because it is the event. We will be talking about different scholarship opportunities and employment opportunities over the summer for senior students. So they were invited to speak on it. And so I guess I'm speaking on behalf of the BSU there at University of Minnesota Rochester, because I saw that in your strategic plan that you guys have a commitment to student success and inclusivity. And I'm just wondering if you guys did any studies that involve the BSU surrounding what are some of their needs, some of their concerns, maybe get their cultural perspective on some of your strategic plans that you just presented moving forward. And the only reason I ask is because I'm a part of the high school graduation network with Cradle to Career. And recently, as a member of CMRC, we just recently, we finished, I think I was like the later part of 2022, we did a study for RCTC in regards to inclusivity and just different areas of concerns. And I'm just wondering if you guys collaborated with the BSU members to get their take on the strategic plans and some of the needs of some of the minorities there at the school, and what are some of the things that they're looking for as well?
Great question. I'm really glad you asked it. We did invite students, and in particular student groups, to come, and we put a lot of those slides that you saw up on the walls, you know, and had people put post-it notes and, you know, kind of provide some of their feedback that way. And we've gotten kind of mixed participation, but so I appreciate you mentioning specifically reaching out to BSU. We have this year when we opened the Student Life Center, we also opened an intercultural center that has a staff member, Sharonda Pugh, who works in there, and she works with BSU. And I think it's a great idea to maybe specifically reach out to that group and ask what they think. Did they have time to come by before? And if not, sit down and talk with us now. I really appreciate that, because I know sometimes people get busy, or maybe they feel like they might not be heard. And I want to make sure that they are heard. About 48% of our student body are underrepresented in one way or another, and especially in particular BIPOC. And if you add first generation students, it's about 70% of our student body. So we really do want to make sure that everyone is heard and has an opportunity to voice their opinions on things like this. So thank you for that.
No problem at all. They just recently reached out to our organization because they're really big on philanthropy and wanting to see how they can get involved within community organizations. So we're actually planning to make a presence at University of Minnesota Rochester, because they're expressed interest in becoming mentors to some of the alumni within our organization to help address some of the needs within the community. So I'd love the opportunity to connect offline to see how we can be of help from a community standpoint, to be involved in any of that as a third party for the BSU, and, you know, some of the recommendations that they might have to put along with your strategic plans in the future. Thank you.
No, that's great. I would like to also connect you with Sharonda, the director of the Intercultural Center too. I mean, this is great. Thank you.
Next up, Lauren.
Hey, Al, thank you for putting this on, and Jenny, such good information. Housing, transportation, and childcare is so important. I apologize, I'm popping in late. I was just at City Council, but specific to transportation, is the city giving you free access to bus rides, of course, and to parking downtown? Can you get free access to parking downtown? If we ask for that, and if we haven't, we should, because they should be giving that to you.
We are definitely not getting anything free.
Okay.
So there are no free bus passes. There's a student rate. I'd love free bus passes. And we are paying for parking. Yeah, I did talk about parking a little bit earlier. This is the first year we've had a contract with the city, and they've given us a small discount, and that's with the university buying year-long contracts. So no, we're paying our students are paying the high parking rates downtown.
We need to change that big time.
I'd love to. Absolutely love to.
Anybody else? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just to add,
Okay,
the
Miriam,
bike club.
go ahead.
the bike club, we would like to get volunteers from the University of Minnesota to do bike-friendly community. And we have the ACLA, the Alliance of Chicanos, Hispanics, and Latin Americans. That's a way that we can partner with the UMR about creating a bike-friendly community.
I love it.
Okay, next, Kim.
So Jenny, this is my question, and this, has been an issue within a community, not just the Cambodian, but in other cultural community, is trying to find a space to host cultural events. And this would also allow a lot of the parents and people that are working here, or maybe younger kid that are calling Rochester home, can really get explored to, UMR. And RCTC and Winona doesn't have that kind of capacity to host a culture that really provide the activity that a lot of the culture want to host. And like Mayo Civic Center is too expensive, and other places do not allow food for them to bring their cultural food. And I want this to be something in the master planning for UMR, or for creating a space for the community. And this will help promote UMR as well, to attract future student and then the parent, to be engaged. But having something affordable, but then also allowing them to bring their own cultural food as they share within our community. And this will create a viral community for us. And it also help give UMR a lot of, promotion.
Yeah,
And
that would be great. I assume you're talking about like larger events, like larger than we could host right now in room 417.
like 500, yeah, like
Wow.
most, yeah, because we and I've been, telling my Cambodian community, I say, we don't want to be hosting things for the Cambodian community only. We want to expand our circle and going out, but then the venue at Mayo Civic Center is too expensive for, nobody's willing to go and rent because it's just
Yep.
expensive.
No,
We can't bring our own food, and then the food is what bring the culture, the community
Right.
together. And so
No.
there's a lack of that in here, and it's just a future plan. If master planning, if that could be included, that would be great.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. I mean, that is something for like that part, like where we build on our land, a community center that can handle that kind of capacity. And bring your own food. Great. Thank you for that addition. I'll make sure that gets added.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Omar Nur. Omar, you got.
Yeah, so my name is Omar Noor. So thank you. I will say thank you, UMR. Asasasa. We have been the partner last 7 years. They helped us for after school program. And so thank you that. So I'm second with Kim said, because we need some events like we do every year the high school graduation for all 4 high schools in the Rochester area, Mayo, and St. Jerry, and John Marshall, and STEAM Academic. So we would like to get the area, because we are a small organization. We are not able to renting a big space like civic center. And also we used to be using YMCA is for the basketball, and they have almost 60 students, the full and free membership. Now we are, I'm renting it to the RCTC. It's very expensive. So I know they don't have the gym for basketball, but I think you have that big center to use, our the event. So again, thank you, UMR, for the partner last 7 years for the in SASA organization.
Thank you. Thank you for that input. Yep. This is great.
Somebody, okay, Kevin, okay, you Kevin and Omar have already, no more, right? You can lower your hands, or okay. Okay, so I think that concludes all the questions. And anybody else wanted to have any comment?
Well, if you think of something later, again, I really appreciate having the time to share this with you and get your input. If you think of something a little bit later, I assume my contact information Maybe I'll just put it in the chat. And Kim knows how to find me since he's,
It's also on the agenda, by the way, with
Okay.
Ginny. Yeah.
I'll put it in all of these places. Would love to hear from you like now about this or anything in the future too. If you have a question about UMR or want to make a contact, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay, thank you very much again. You're welcome to stay. You know, the next topic is Magda talking about Three River Action Group about the mentoring program. Are you there? Uh-oh. She was here earlier. Magda, you still on? I can see her, but she's, well, while we're waiting for her or not, anybody else have any news or comments from our CMRC groups? So things like you can talk a few more about, for example, I know ACLA as well as Promotion Women are involved with post-secondary education thing with ARC2 philanthropy, right? So you guys are doing some work there. Maybe you can make a few comments about what your effort is in terms of helping fill out the financial scholarship as well as other things that you're doing. You know, I'll start with Miriam first. You know, I know the ACLA has done some work in that regard. Can you say a few words about that? Oh.
Yeah. In this just started again. Do you remember last year we were working again with RCTC, but this time the focus is all the universities. So I'm glad that Jeannie was here because we need to pay attention on the universities that we have in town, not just RCTC. The students have options, and to be able to do it at the high school, next opportunity to do a FAFSA approach where everything starts from the FAFSA, what they qualify for. And we haven't put the next date where we are going to have, but it's normally the FAFSA meeting, the careers, what kind of careers, like Winona has something going on and that we're preparing a field trip. But again, we don't want to be selective to just one university. So we want to do it all together. I mean, we want to do one that is fair for every university, to bring the universities to the meeting instead of we going to every single site, because that's costly anyway. So that's the approach. We will have 3 formal attempts to get the people engaged into higher education.
Are you helping some Hispanic students to fill out the financial, the sort of called FISA? No, FAS, that form?
The FAFSA.
Yeah. Right.
Well, not with ACLA navigators or the community health workers. No, they are not doing that kind of work. What we're going to do is facilitate FAFSA night at the high school, where we are going to be doing that kind of work, the FAFSA, and we'll invite different universities to come and help us, because it's not just RCTC helping us. I want Winona, University of Minnesota, St. Mary's University, and all the different universities that somehow sometimes we don't invite. So we will try to be inclusive of all the universities, so everybody help out with the FAFSA
Okay.
registration.
Yep. Magda, I think she says she's ready. Magda?
Earlier, I was having some difficulties here, but yeah, my name is Magda and I'm with Three Rivers Community Action in Rochester, Minnesota. I'm a home ownership mentor coordinator, and I wanted to introduce our the pilot program that we have, serving 20 BioPAC households from the Rochester area that are enrolled in the Achieve home ownership program. We have had a 10 with the pilot program, we've started with 10 mentors that would mentee our BioPAC home families with the home buying process. We have filled the capacity for the mentorship for the mentors, but we were still looking for 2 or around 3 mentees that are in the BioPAC community who are interested to learn in the home buying process and ways we can connect them to resources through our Three Rivers and through the program with down payments. And it's we have had the Achieve Home Ownership program since 2008 at Three Rivers, but this program is primarily focusing in the Rochester area. Home ownership and not expensive other areas. But if you know of any family members that are interested to learn home buying process and with down payment assistance, advising, counseling, or even home buying, outreach classes that we do, it would be great if you can refer anyone from the community that would be interested in this program. Please ask questions that you have to answer.
Lauren, you got a question or comment? Oh, no.
I just wanted to add on to what Magda said. Magda, let everyone know about that, the mentors that you already currently have and what you're still looking for.
Yeah, I'm specifically looking from the demographic of, Nigerian, Asian, I wanted to make sure I meet the BioPAC diverse group in its entirety and not just primarily having one group larger than the other, if you understand what I mean. So I'm looking an Asian mentee to really try our pilot program for the mentorship. If you know of anyone who would like to serve, or would like to know about the home buying process, serving as a mentee, that would be great. Like I said, we have already reached the capacity for the mentors, which was 10 of them. So it's just we're needing more mentees, a family of, families or individuals that are interested to be or through the mentorship program.
Lauren, you raise your hand. You have a question? Or
Yes, if you can hear me, you can hear
Yep.
me? Yep. Say, I was just wondering, Magda, are you familiar with the Rochester Foundation First Homes is working with this extensively also? Are you partnering with them at all?
Rochester Homes, is it the Coalition for Rochester Area Housing?
Yep.
In Rochester Foundation First Homes, they are very, okay, good.
This, Lori, with the Coalition for Rochester Housing and, to help mentor BioPAC homeowners. And that's how we have started the pilot not long ago here. So it's with their force and partnering that we're taking this to next height,
Good. And Magda, could you put down your email that I can contact you? I think I am in the real estate world, and I have some people that would be very interested, I think, in helping you with that in the BIPOC community that would be specific to helping you. So if you put in your email, I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, I'll put my information for everyone. Thanks, Lori.
I wanted to add into. I wanted to add into what Magda said. This program that she's talking about came from an extension of, if you guys were aware of the home ownership co-design that the Rochester Area Foundation and Joe Marie was in charge of it, and I think it's an extension of that. So from there on, after the co-design finished, we concluded that they were still needing some more information. More of the community needed to know about home ownership and where they could get the resources. So this was born from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Khadija, for adding that. It's the co-designers that recommended, actually, we tried to do something to engage the community by developing a community of mentors, and I believe Marie, like she mentioned, Khadija, this project is the same, project that is coming and partnering with the Coalition of Rochester through the help of the co-designers.
Okay, next, I think, Nashana, you have a question, comment?
Yes, I wanted to ask, while trying to expand information about this opportunity, I just wanted to get a bit more clarity on how does this home buying experience differ from, many other first-time home buyer experiences that has been available in the past, such as, I myself as a minority, I've gone through a couple of these home buying courses, and, it kind of goes, you go through a class. Once you complete it, gathering all the information, there's basically some down payment assistance, but then there's these requirements, and many people who already come from low income families, nobody in their family has homes, never purchased a home before. All of this is new to them. They go through that process, and then they're told their credit score has to be a certain amount. They've had to have employment for a certain amount of time. And so there's all these different requirements that are not stated up front at the beginning. So these different opportunities somewhat in the past have had a systemic track record of bringing BIPOC people into their program for numbers purposes, to reach a certain participation goal. But a lot of these people don't meet requirements at that time and cannot meet requirements within those 6 months time frame when it comes to increasing that credit score or securing employment to be able to show income verification, and so on and so forth. So I'm wondering, how is this program different from any of those other programs?
Magda, are you still there?
Jack,
Not hearing. Oh, yeah.
a question for me?
Yeah, that her question, Nashana had a question, I think, in essence, was for people that may not have scored well the credit. How do you, in this, the mentoring program, does it address that kind of issue? Or how is your program
That's great,
unique? Yeah.
Sean. I apologize. Yeah, that's a great question. We help families with all the barriers that they might encounter. Could be language, could be credit, could be financial literacy. We have our 101 advising counseling through the Achieve Home Ownership program, where we invite our participants to join either through our home stretch class or through the advising itself. When they come through the home stretch class, that's where we announce what we do in 101 counseling. And there they might be struggling with credit score, or maybe people have never heard of credit score and just starting from the scratch. So with the 101 counseling advising services that we do, we assist participants to overcome all the barriers that they are facing, and we work with them one-on-one, whether it's a short-term or long-term goal, so it depends on the individual and their situation.
Thank you. And is it a down payment amount, like a set down payment amount, or does it vary based on the situation from person to person?
It varies again, and it's all when they connect with the lender, what they're eligible for, depending on, again, with the individual basis, their credit score, their income. There's so many other factors that go into account before, determining certain amount, I believe. But then there's so many down payment programs that they can layer with on top of each other. That's the good thing about it.
I have one last question. Okay. Is this a state funded program, or is this like a private grant?
It's a state-funded program, and now with the first generational home buyer loan coming through air here, that's something else they could also layer through, but it comes from Minnesota Housing and other partners that we have.
Thank you.
Is there a flyer or announcement, some kind of poster to describe this program?
Sorry, you were cutting off. I apologize. I think the difficulty on my end. Could you repeat that for me?
Okay. Do you have a description or flyer or promotional material about this?
Right now, unfortunately, I do not have it, but I'll be more than happy once I get back to my desk tomorrow to share with everyone. Sorry. You guys.
Yeah, okay. That would be helpful, I think.
Yeah.
There are two more questions, I think. Omar, you have a question or comment, or maybe
No.
Okay, you have to lower your hand.
Sorry.
And then Jose Miller.
Yeah, I just had a comment, and that was a very good observation, Nashana. I'm Jose. I work with Associated Bank, and thank you for putting this together as well, Al. And I think initially, as far as going through the courses and they kind of prepare you for home ownership, but speaking from a bank perspective, there's different things that you can do in regards to raising credit score. And again, I work for one bank, but I would recommend everybody to check with their bank and see how they can set themselves up for success to purchase homes. We have some good programs where there's grant money that can be given, but I'm more than happy to answer questions in regards to initial home ownership but yeah, I can see where it's definitely you get in this program, and like you said, Nashana, and then you build up to this, and then they go to the bank, and unfortunately, the credit score is low. From my perspective, I'm there to help with credit score and planning. So I would definitely, it's definitely a process, but there are programs out there in specific banks that do community resource CRA involvement and that kind of thing. So I think it's just either asking the question of your bank or just knowing somebody that has those resources for sure.
Okay, thank you, Jose. That's really helpful. Okay, no more questions. Any more questions? And thank you, Magda, for telling us about this opportunity.
Thank you.
And we come to a point where anybody want to make some announcements or news that want to share from another reminder. Okay, Miriam.
I do. You probably are hearing, save the date for September 14. We're going to have the Latino Fest at the Chateau Theater. And this time we're going to have the whole Peace Plaza featuring activities and things like that. So save the date, September 14th.
Okay, thank you. But also to all these events, if you send information to me, I'll post it on the Beam website. And okay. Anybody else have any? Yeah.
Something. I mean, actually, all this event that we are having, sometimes, if possible, if you can add it to, at least for my own calendar, had some people's calendars. I mean, I want, because sometimes when I see on my calendar, it's there for me to attend when I see on my calendar. So, if you're on a calendar, if you don't want, just decline on the calendar. But for me, calendar makes it easier for me to really plan for them. So if you can add it to calendar, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah. Nashana, you have something to share?
Yes. I just wanted to share with all of you regarding our event for the Open Road workshop that we have coming up, because I might not see a lot of you guys again before that time comes. So I just wanted to give some clarity on what that is and kind of what we're doing. So a lot of young seniors that are in high school. There's so many opportunities that are coming up in different spaces that I work with. There's some state grants for scholarships that are coming up. There's several different programs that have some amazing scholarships for youth that are in foster care. And for low income youth that are graduating high school, entering college, and there's also some funding resources available for trades programs. And a lot of students, especially from the community that I serve, which is the Black community, those students, their families, they have access to the information, but it's not like right in front of their face. So all of these opportunities are just flying past them without them even knowing that it's there for them. So outside of post-secondary, that's available while they're in high school, these students, what we're doing with the Open Road is at RCTC, we are hosting this event with coordinators from the Office of Higher Education, the Minnesota Office of Higher Education, who is distributing the grant, the scholarship for these students. They will be there. They will be able to share information. These are 100% full scholarships where students can go all 4 years free of charge. They can go to trades. It's all free of charge. And then there's opportunities for employment through the Workforce Development Center, where they have different internships and jobs that are available over the summer, and different trade programs that are available for them as well, along with students from the University of Minnesota Rochester, who some of them are a part of the Black Student Union, who will share their first year college experience and some of the barriers that they face, what are the good, some of the bad, and just get them really excited and pumped up from a student perspective, where the young people can be able to ask questions. Parents are invited to attend as well. Kids that are in foster care all the way up to the age of 28, those who have aged out of foster care, some of these scholarships opportunities are also available to them. So they might be parents, they're probably working a job. They too have that opportunity to a full scholarship to go back and get these trade programs paid for, to help increase the diversity in these different career areas. So we're doing that. And at the end of the event, we will have an extra hour set aside in the computer lab where Journey and volunteers, students of UMR, and then the coordinators from the state of Minnesota's Office of Higher Education will assist those students with applying for these jobs and internships and applying for these scholarships and writing resumes and so forth. So we won't just give them the information. We've also set aside time to assist them with actually starting that process and putting some of those applications in. So that's coming up on April 16th. You can find that flyer on our Facebook page and on our Instagram, and then it's also on the Beam. Al has placed it there, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to share it on your platform to any parents or high school students, or even youth up to the age of 25. There's going to be free food, door prizes as well. Thank you.
Do people have to register to attend? I noticed your flyer doesn't have registration link or anything.
So on the flyer, it does say if you would like to register for a time slot where someone can assist you with applying for the scholarships or the internships, or to assist with resume writing, you can send us an email and then we can coordinate a time slot for you. So we do have that. So they'll just send us an email and then we'll coordinate from there, because what happens is a lot of people will register for a time slot and we'll put them in there and then they don't show, and we only have 25 slots available. So we don't want to turn other people around. So we want to make sure that we are saving those time slots for those who are really serious about getting those applications for scholarships and employment and things like that in that for that evening, because they'll be making one-on-one connections with the different people within our network that evening.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Any other news? Questions, comments? If
This is Kim.
Going-
The
Kim,
Cambodian New Year. The Cambodian New Year is happening in April. So the biggest one is at the Farmington Temple on April 13. It goes 13, 14, Saturday, Sunday. And if you want to experience what Cambodia culture is, I would recommend for you to, and I will share that with Al, the information, so that way everyone can, really experience what Cambodian culture. And then April 27 is in Rochester. If you, it's like miss that opportunity, Rochester will have a Cambodian New Year on April 27. It's a 1 day, it's gonna be a 2 day, but Saturday will be a lot of fun activity. So we welcome you to come and bring your family to enjoy. And there's gonna be outdoor event, and I'll be performing in both places. So you can come and see me rocking on that day as well if you want to hear what Cambodian music is like.
But thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Counting down. If not, thank you for everybody to joining us today, and we'll see you next month.
Very good.
Bye.
Thank you, Al.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Al. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Al. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you,
Thank you.
Dashana. You have already this going on. I'm so glad that you're putting those things in your platform, because lots of good things. Thank you, Al.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.